What's going on, everyone? It's RJ and Alex from Backyard Sprouts. And in today's video, Alex and I will be discussing which crops we decided to grow on our very first season, coming up next. Hey guys, I'm RJ.
And I'm Alex, and we're from Backyard Sprouts, where we bring you, the community, along on our urban farming adventure. We also do different gear reviews on items that we've really enjoyed using, as well as some that maybe weren't so successful. And we're definitely going to be posting a lot of comments about those, so if you have any questions, post them below. We'll be sure to answer them. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the different seeds we chose, why we chose them, and kind of give you an idea behind our thought process on which ones we chose to plant for our first season as urban farmers.
Alright, so in the beginning of this, we are obviously going through Curtis's book, and he does recommend a bunch of crops that are high yielding and that would profit us the most. And so in doing that, he does recommend a bunch of crops that is perfect for his region, which is in Canada, right? So here we needed to isolate that and what would work out best for us here in the Carolinas. And Alex has grown some in the past, and so can you tell us what has been successful for you out of that list and all that?
So I've been down in the Carolinas for a few years now, and I've had success with tomatoes, I've had success with leeks, surprisingly. My lettuce has always done well, like different variations of butterbell lettuces, but I've never had good success with spinach and arugula. My yard in particular gets a ton of sun, like 12 hours of direct sunlight in the summertime, and if you're familiar with Carolina heat, it's super intense. So I just think some of those darker greens that like a little more shade don't do so well in my direct sun. So we had that discussion a bit when we were talking about our sites, because we don't want to plant anything that would roast, basically, right? We need to be cognizant of where the sun's coming in. So Curtis has had a lot of luck, I believe, with spinach.
Spinach, yeah.
Yep, is one of those. So we're hoping maybe some of RJ's sites will do better, and I've kind of played with some of my planting beds to see if they'll do better this year. We've also kind of talked about doubling up on what we're growing, so growing the same crops at RJ's site as well as mine, because Curtis mentions in his book that some crops do better in different locations.
Yeah, so even though her and I are both in the Carolinas, mine might grow much more than hers. If we're both doubling up on spinach, and like Alex said, in her site, if her backyard is being roasted and fried and it's not doing anything, but mine is just exploding, then we'll know. And you know, for us it'll be trial and error in the beginning, but yeah.
You also have to consider your soil. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll have seen that RJ just had I don't even know the measurement, a truckload of soil dumped at his house. Yeah, so in the Carolinas we have this wonderful stuff called clay. We don't really have soil, so you have to bring in dirt or soil into your garden, because there's just no way you're plowing the ground.
Yeah, you have maybe, what, 4 inches of real soil, and then you hit red clay. So that's definitely something to consider as well.
So RJ just got his beds loaded up, and I will be loading mine shortly. But we definitely have to think about, you know, how much dirt we'll need to bring in and where we're going to be spacing things.
Yep. So a few of the vegetables that Alex and I have chosen to go with are spinach, lettuce, some tomatoes, and different variants of tomatoes, like the sweeties, cherries, arugula.
Yep. We've also done radishes, jalapenos, and I think you're gonna try, or I'm gonna try some peppers.
Yep, you got the peppers.
Yeah.
And then I am dipping my hand in some cucumbers and some zucchini and seeing how that is. I'm actually dedicating my 20-foot beds in the back of my yard for the zucchini and the cucumbers, because apparently they need a lot of space. And you said you've grown them in the past, right? Yeah,
I've grown zucchini. If anyone's familiar, they get like really big leaves and they need a lot of sun and water, so they definitely can go from, your seeds are about this big right now, but they get huge. And we definitely focused on mixing up the days to maturity that Curtis suggested in his book, because that's a big part of how you make money, right? You don't want things that take long days to mature, or else you're waiting months to get the product. And then we mixed up things that we also like to eat because we wanted to have a good variety.
Yeah, that's important, right? If you're not growing something that you like to eat, then why are you growing it?
Yeah.
So we're definitely focusing on vegetables that we like to eat as well and we're familiar with.
Yep.
And that way we can sell it and talk about it as well and not sell something like, I'm not familiar with Russian kale that he sells.
Right.
And if people are asking me about Russian kale, I'm not too familiar with it. So we're focusing on vegetables that we do know about. And the one thing that Alex and I did start doing research on are microgreens.
Yes.
And the reason we're trying to dip our hands into microgreens is because we're obviously trying to utilize the best use of our space. As urban farmers, we're very limited in space, and we want to make sure that we are utilizing every square inch as best as possible because of the fact that we are pulling back a little bit of yard space for our dogs, and we can't just dedicate the whole yard to it. So microgreens is something that we've started to venture into, and we will let you guys know what we decide to go with. But as of right now, we're just in the very early stages of it.
Yeah, we've been kind of doing some infrastructure planning, see if we have the ability and the room to kind of grow it. They don't seem to take up too much space, but we're definitely doing our research on that part right now. Another reason that we chose the variety of seeds that we did is because Curtis suggests that at your stand, when you go to the farmer's market, you have a variety of color. People don't want to walk up and just see all green things. So that's why the tomatoes and some of the other, like the peppers we're growing, hopefully will bring some color and variety into that stand.
Yeah, give it some pop.
Yeah, exactly. So what seeds is everyone thinking about planting for their 2019 spring season? Thank you all for joining us in today's video. If you Sprouts have any questions, drop them in the comments below and we would love to answer them.
And Alex and I are trying to build a community of like minds, so we'd absolutely love it if you guys hit that like and subscribe button so you guys get the latest on our urban farming adventure, and we will see you guys next time. So a few of the... Hold on.
Where we're going to be spacing things.
Yep.